twin, we just call me lover friend. I guess it is what it is. Hey, tell me what's going on. Yeah, girl, this may not be your favorite song. Cause baby, every week you switch up. Switch up. So
hey guys, welcome back to HomieLoverFriend. And this is our Married at First Sight review. Episode 4, I believe. And it's the honeymoon beginning
part 1
episodes.
You know they're gonna drag it out.
I'm about to say, y'all know they drag it out. But before we start, I want to say happy birthday, baby.
Thank you, love. It's the big 3-0. And I'm
feeling every bit of it.
I feel it.
Welcome to the club.
Feeling pain. Acid and indigestion. Just, yeah. Anyway, though, happy to be 30. Happy to be here on the rock for another one around.
Let's not get into rocks anymore.
What?
Nothing.
Anyway.
So, first we're going to start with Bao and Johnny. She's Mrs. Highbar. He is Mr. Life of the Picky Party. Just to recap. And this episode, they didn't really show too much of Johnny and Bao. They showed them coming into their marriage, their honeymoon suite. And what was funny is, well, not funny, but what was funny is theirs was different from everybody else's, but I don't think they expected it to be different. When they came in, they had red and gold sheets on the bed, and Johnny's sister had wrote a note basically saying that she told him that she was going to prepare a bed for his wedding bed for him as a joke, I guess, and she gave him sheets that had 100 children on it, because in their culture there's a saying when people get married, they'll be blessed with 100 children, 1,000 grandchildren, and it was kind of like a nod to their heritage. I had never heard this before, but I thought it was kind of cute. I thought it was an interesting, tidbit that they put in the show, and I'm glad to see them like leaning into exposing more about their culture, because it gives the show something different than what we keep seeing for the past 13 seasons. So I like it.
It's pretty dope that the both of them are into their culture.
Yeah.
Where they're willing to, show it, and they take a lot of pride in it. Because in some cases, you could have someone who's very into certain religions and cultures, and then you may have the other one who may not be, but they both are. And they're willing to share with the audience, so that's pretty dope.
So the next morning, they woke up from their first night together, and they had breakfast in bed, and they did the whole thing about like, we have to exchange numbers, the little bit that they do the morning when they wake up. And Bao was basically like, I think I actually still have your number. And we found out that she didn't still have it from college. Post-college, they were supposed to go out on a date, and Bao had tickets for and extended the invitation to Johnny, and he ghosted her. She had a membership to a museum, and Johnny basically said, oh yeah, I'm interested in stuff like that too. And when it was time, or getting close to time for them to go, he never messaged her back. And the funny thing was, in his phone, he didn't have any of those messages. She had their conversation, so obviously he deleted them. Right. And he was like laughing about that and apologizing for it, and basically was like, well, I got a lifetime now to make up for it. And I thought that was cute, because it kind of showed that he's already like seeing a future with her. And then when it was time for them to meet each other's families, Bao met with Johnny's mother, his aunt, and I think a really close family friend. And they pretty much asked her, how was she liking him so far? She was saying that they went to school together and that they already knew each other. And she was kind of at ease with his mom when they first met that morning for breakfast. the mom grabbed her hand and was like, "You can either call me auntie or mom, whichever one you're comfortable with." And that kind of put Bao at ease to be like, okay, you know, our families are gonna intertwine and commingle very well. So she opted to call her mom, and they had like a little banter questionnaire asking about children and what did she see in the future with her and Johnny. What in the world? What did she see in the future with her and Johnny? And one of Johnny's aunts made a joke that, yeah, now Johnny can quit his job and be Mr. Mom. And they were just laughing and kikiing. And Bao was just like,
Their little cricket smile.
Right. It was so funny. So I was like, they must find out what Bao did for a living.
Ain't she like an engineer or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she does cancer. She does cancer research.
Oh, true.
So I was just like, yeah. It wasn't funny to her, but I feel like it was just a joke. So in that conversation, Bao asked more about Johnny's dad, and we found out that he moved to California and he wasn't really like into the process, which we already knew. So Bao was very optimistic about, like, you know, hopefully I can meet him one day, win him over once he gets to know me. And it was no sweat off her back, the fact that he wasn't supportive of the decision. So later we see Johnny talking with Bao's family, and it was pretty much the same thing. Very easygoing conversation. Nothing was really like
pressing
grilling. With them.
Mm-hmm.
So we flash to Johnny and Bao getting their basket, packing for their honeymoon trip. And she breaks out her spreadsheet.
She's like, I need my spreadsheet. He was like, wait. Spreadsheet?
He was like, I got a checklist.
Yeah, I got a checklist, but you have a whole spreadsheet? And she's like, and that's when she went through her little explanation of how she goes through spreadsheets.
Yes.
And how she needs everything itemized to the list. Now, granted, in my mind, I was like, this seems very effective, but I'm just like, I would never.
What's funny is I kind of did that when we went to Vegas. In my phone, it wasn't quite a spreadsheet, but in my phone,
checklist.
It was like, it was Monday. It was
that's kind of
it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It was daytime outfit, possible dinner outfit, walking around outfit. Like I had, and then I put orange shirt, blue jean shorts, white sneakers. Like I had pretty much it all down to the T. And then I was like, I want a bathing suit, at least 3 of them. I was like, 2 2-pieces, 1 1-piece. I literally had it planned out like that. But I feel like when I'm packing, especially if I'm going somewhere where I can't turn back around and run to the house and grab whatever, I'm here for the spreadsheets.
I'm not against it, you know. But it's not necessarily weird in that instance, but for her other aspects of life that she has spreadsheets for, it's kind of weird. But when it comes to packing for a honeymoon, it's like a checklist. It's just an over-exaggerated checklist.
Overall, about Johnny and Bao, I like them. I think they're gonna go the distance. I really feel like I said last time, them knowing each other makes Bao a lot softer than she probably would have been with somebody that she didn't know. So I feel like they're gonna be good. They're gonna be good.
The only thing that I foresee maybe in the issue, and that's just because of how they're kind of building it up towards it, is the sex. But I'm just like, I don't see that, because to be honest, Bao is all over Johnny, and I'm just like, and she's allowing her to touch him and touch her. I mean, and I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I think they're kind of like, I don't,
because I feel like, okay, so when they were in the bed, when they got to the honeymoon destination, they of course took a tour of the rooms. They put their stuff up or whatever, and she was saying how she liked how he laid all his shoes out in a row. She was like, oh, I can get with this. So they were in the bed and they were just talking about, you know, the day just winding down, and she mentioned to him how comfortable she was with him, and that the way he kissed her gives her an indicator of how he would be in bed when they get to that point. So I feel like there's stuff that's happening when the camera's not around, as far as them like making out and being lovey-dovey, where she's like relaxing and letting her guard down. So I agree with you when it comes to that, to them becoming physically intimate. I feel like it's not a lot of pressure there because they were able to have an open conversation about it.
Yeah, and to be honest, Johnny's cool, man. Like, he's a really cool dude. Like, you could tell.
Very much so.
He's probably the coolest dude on this show. Like, cool. Like, dude, that's a cool dude. So. You know what I mean? Like, he fly.
I would want to hang with him. The same way I felt about Woody. Yeah. When I seen Woody, I was like, oh, yeah, I would definitely go to the bar and hang out and chill with Woody.
So he actually had a conversation with her about sex, and he knew how to present it to her, and he presented it well enough where it just made her just relax. It made her at ease. It just put her at ease. And she was so pleased at how he communicated with her and how gentle the conversation was. So Bao is smooth. Johnny is smooth, and he know how to handle Bao. Yeah. Delicately, because she's very intricate as into how she would like to be handled.
So overall, are they still a yes for you?
Still yes for me. Week 3.
Okay, so
week 4.
Yes, they're still a yes for me as well.
4 weeks into this damn show, we just gotta get to this honeymoon.
Listen.
Anyway,
Michaela and Zach, Miss Stubborn Sweetheart and Mr. Romantic Idealist. So we see them again coming in for the wedding. They were laid up on the bed, which was kind of cute. She was laying down. His head was like on her stomach, on her chest. Like, okay. She was stroking his hair. They were, chatting and talking. And they showed them cuddling. And they showed her and her confessional talking about how attractive she was to him and how she's open. And I said, oh, sis is hot and ready like Little Caesars. Like, she is open to this man. And I was like, I don't know if I feel like in situations like these, I don't think I would do it on the first night. Maybe somewhere during the honeymoon if the feelings are that strong. But the first night, I don't know.
In any other situation, I wouldn't be against them, or I wouldn't be against them having sex the first night. Mm-hmm. But for her and him, this relationship is still screaming toxic.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know if this would be a good idea for them to, especially going off of the kind of history they play back of her, or like
the preview.
Not the previews, but more so just like how they speak of her and how she handles her previous relationships. I'm just like, I don't know if her having sex, like, it's a certain attachment that you still get when you have sex, whether you're emotionally not attached or not, but it still is some emotional attachment that you have. And to put that emotional attachment on your relationship this early, it could be to their detriment. But she's really into him. He's giving her compliments, and he's just enough nerd for her, and she's attracted to the nerdiness of her, or nerdy of him. And it's gonna work out, at least on a sex tip.
Yeah. So, I noticed that when they blew the candles out, that they didn't blow all their candles out. So I said, this might be plotting a little ambiance, but we shall see.
Sure, I'll be able to see some things.
I was like, Michaela is the girl from Tiny Toon Adventures.
Yeah, Amira. I just want to squeeze him and hug him in. Or she said she's a possessive girl. She admitted that. Or brunch.
She's the little girl from Despicable Me. When she was like, it's so fluffy, I just want that. And she just gives me like clinginess.
She says she's possessive.
And so the next morning they wake up,
like that,
they have breakfast. This is when she says she's possessive. And he, in his confessional, was like,
that's sexy.
That's sexy to me. That's a turn on. And I'm just like,
toxic. Like,
this
everything is reading toxic, bro. This shit is gonna be a volcano.
I was like, as soon as he said that, I said, babe, I told you dudes like crazy girls. Bruce
it's
always tried to say that
it's crazy girls.
Bruce always tried to say
girls.
that
it's a difference.
I am lying when I say that men like crazy women. But
You call
I've
them crazy
known
to
a
an
lot of
extent, to
crazy
an extent,
women, and
to
I've
an
known
extent.
a lot of men who you would never think would be with crazy women, and they just stay. It's just wild. Leave your comments below on that tip, because you know everybody has their own opinion. That's just mine.
So you admitting that some women are crazy?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting some ground. I'll let you have that. I'll stop talking.
All right,
that.
Bruce. Anywho, Zach goes to meet with the sisters in the morning for breakfast and expresses how much he's been enjoying his time with Michaela, that they've been talking and getting to know one another, and that he's very pleased with her as a wife. And the sisters kind of, nod and take it all in. And they're pretty much pleased with him as a pick for a husband.
He's still awkward when he's around.
As of right now. I feel like it's because he's not used to that much feminine energy coming to him at once.
Black woman energy?
Not even black woman, but like when you see Michaela talking to his family, it's mostly men and his mother. So it's like maybe he's awkward around new people. Maybe it's a lot of women, strong women. He don't really know how to handle that as
and
a
they
vet.
present
And I don't want to put
very united front and a very intimidating front, kind of, because, like I said, they all look like authors. So they're no nonsense. It's almost like the Guardians almost, and she's the baby, so it's like
and that's what she said.
It's really weird their dynamic that they have. It's just like a united front.
One of his sisters was saying, I just want to make sure that we're putting her in the arms of the right person. She's the baby of the family. She's used to being protected, and she walks around this world basically knowing, that she's protected. And she was like, I don't want to relinquish our protection. Well, she didn't say this. I'm putting these words to it. She wanted to make sure before she relinquished the protection of her younger sister that she was in the hands of a man who was capable of protecting her. And I don't think she means like physically protecting her. I think she means more so emotionally. Because Michaela, for as much as bubbly as she is, she strikes me as a very sensitive person. A very emotional person. And I feel like it's going to take the right guy to be able to, for lack of better words, handle her emotionally.
Zach gives some traits to me as far as patience.
Mm-hmm. Or could it just be him being quiet?
I feel like he had a certain level of patience, though. And hopefully it works out in his favor where he'll be able to handle that. The only thing, though, is with her sisters also saying that, and she walks around this world protected, knowing that she has her sisters there as support and a crutch. Mm-hmm. I also, in some weird way, just feel like
a crutch.
Well, I'm paraphrasing, but I feel like that just means she's gonna fly off the handle verbally and kind of emotionally. But we'll see. I feel like she's just gonna be saying some wild shit sometimes. I don't know.
So next we see Michaela, and she's at breakfast with the family. The dichotomy of her and them is so funny to me. She's sitting there, she sits down, she's very happy and bubbly, and everybody is kind of chill. They're engaging her in conversation, especially the dad. His dad is eating Michaela up. Like, just, he leads the conversation. The mom, she's a little bit more reserved. She's listening to everything Michaela says. She's not really saying much. She's just taking it all in and watching her. Baby talk comes up again. And I'm just like, sis, this is day one of however many y'all got.
Days?
It's too early for the baby talk. Like, please stop. Then we find out that this show does the most assholest thing that I've seen it do in a long time. Well, not a long time, but since last season. They call her up for what?
You got a point. Go ahead.
So they call her up for a daddy-daughter dance. The DJ does. And I'm just like, this is for show purposes, and this is very exploitative. Like, this is very exploiting. I don't know if I use that. No, I'm not saying explicit. They're exploiting this moment because they know her story with her dad, and they want to capture that on film. That's what I felt like, and I was very disgusted by it.
Ask for permission, man. I don't know.
But however, they show Zach's dad coming up to her. Well, basically, she was like, we'll talk about my dad later. He's deceased. I guess he already.
Granted,
she had already told him that.
Yeah,
that was a flashback. And then you see, a little bit later, Zach's not sitting beside her, and his dad walks over, and he's like, "Hey, Michaela, how you doing? I just want to know if it's okay if I dance with you." And when I say I almost shed a thug tear, they almost got me, but I was just like, that was just so sweet. And they showed a little bit of them getting up and dance. They was on the 2-step. The daddy had a little rhythm, and I don't think she was expecting it. So they pretty much gel. I feel like his dad and Michaela have similar, like, outgoing personalities, where Zach's mom gives me, this is my baby boy, and I don't trust you too much, but she also gives me that she's a very reserved woman. So we'll see how those relationships pan out. Another funny thing to note was Michaela was talking about how she believes in arguing fairly and being calm, and how it's okay to take a step back, and if we need to revisit the argument and topic, we'll come back. Said that she learned the wrong way to communicate from her mother and father as far as being in a relationship, and that she tries not to emulate that, and she's the opposite. And I'm like,
sure,
okay, that ain't what the edit said, but all right, sis, we'll see that. So she left. She did the black girl thing before the honeymoon. She went and got her hair braided right after the brunch. When they came back to the hotel that night before going on the honeymoon, they ended up having sex, and she was very cheesy and smiley. And he was saying that if their relationship, if this is any indication of their relationship, he would at least know that he's sexually. No, he said satisfied.
Happy man.
Sexually. So, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. We don't really see them when they get to Florida for the honeymoon. We just see a preview of next week when he possibly has COVID. So they're sleeping in 2 different rooms. And from the preview, it looked like she was upset because she was like, I didn't come all the way on my honeymoon for me and my husband not to be in the bed together and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm hoping that this is an edit.
Yeah.
And she's not just like so eager to be with him that she doesn't understand the health precautions that they need to take. But overall for them, I still am a no for them staying together, and / if they do, it'll be toxic for a little while. What about you?
I'm still at a maybe. I got hope, man. I just got hope, because the thing about black people, we'll try, especially black men. We'll try and try till we can't try no more.
Yeah, if it's something that y'all want.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like they're gonna fall in love hard.
I just don't want it to be like what Drake say, the hottest love have the coldest ends. I just don't want it to be like a big
episode of For My Man.
Like
these niggas end up on TV1 or BET Her or some shit. Oh, it just seems crazy. It seems like it's gonna go crazy. I don't know why, but
and I can't wait to see why he was leaving her. He was pulling off on a little group outing. And I also want to see what made her go off as far as like slamming the door in the camera's face. But, they'll tease us with that for 35 years.
It'd be something stupid as hell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, moving right along, we have my favorite person on the show, Marla and Gil.
Oh.
Marla's a bitch.
Sarcasm? Oh, okay.
And that's just that on that.
Gil is a good guy.
In the words of Jamie, that's just that on that.
They done put Gil with a fucking prissy ass girl.
So
high maintenance, and that's the best word to use.
So they get to the hotel suite the night after the wedding, or the night of the wedding. Oh. He helps her out. He helps her out of her dress. They're laying in bed. She comes out, with her little pajamas on. And they're talking or whatever, and Gil opens up about his father being deceased, which is why he wasn't at the wedding, and he tells her exactly what happened. I was young, some people came in the house, I was laying on the couch, I heard gunshots and footsteps by the time I ran upstairs. my father was, shot. Called 911. They got him to the hospital. A couple minutes later at the hospital, whatever. The doctor comes out and says he didn't make it, and he was saying how he was just numb and he was just like, okay, because he didn't know what to do, what was next. And it was very just.
Well, they were talking.
Just no, I was saying it was very he was talking about it matter of factly because it happened so long ago. But I can
said
imagine
that he was comfortable speaking about it now because of how long it was.
Right.
But he was saying that when it first happened, it tore him apart.
Right.
But it's been so many years in between. Because the thing is, they were actually talking, and they were talking about the things that they have in common with one another. And they ended up saying, well, yeah, my dad is deceased. And then she went, my dad is deceased. And then they were like, wow, and, do you think this is part of why they put us together and things of that nature? And I'm like, damn, that's a fucked up kind of commonality to have, but also it's a good one at the same time, because you don't want it to ever be that situation where you be like, you'll never understand what this feels like,
right?
Because he knows exactly what it feels like.
She he was expecting her to kind of open up and tell what happened to her father, and she was just like, I don't want to talk about it. And I mean, you can't pressure anybody into talking about it, but it just sat wrong with me because I feel like here's a man whom you just met, granted he is your husband, opening up in a very vulnerable way to you.
You just left him out there on that island.
And you just let him be the only one to open up. And granted, you don't have to pour your whole soul out, but she could have gave him a tidbit and said, I'll give you full details later or something. I don't know. But one thing that happened after that was they get up, she goes in the bathroom, takes her dress off, he takes his suit off, they get in the bed, they're at polar ends of the bed, and he offers to rub her feet. And Mirla was just like, ain't gonna be none of that.
She basically was like, nope, don't even think about it. And I'm just like, first off,
think about rubbing your crusty feet.
Nigga, he's offering to rub your feet. He wasn't trying to make a pass at you or anything. Plus,
he ain't trying to rub your feet on his penis.
Nigga, that. And
she
plus,
said it like he was going to take some.
She tried to act like she was asleep when he came back in there. Like, girl.
I didn't see her act like she was asleep.
Yes. Like she was, damn near she would have faked snoring almost. She would have faked it. I really feel like she would have played snoring. Because she had that little smirk on her fucking face that she be having when she doing something that she Yeah, and I'm just like, what are you, 12?
It was just
She's very annoying.
That was one of the first things in the long line of stuff that she did this episode that pissed me off. So we wake up the next morning and they're in the bed, they're talking, and one thing this gave me a glimpse to let me know that Gil ain't passive.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to need to puff his chest up at her. She seems to me like one of those type of women who I never hit a woman, but I shake the shit out of you type situations. She strikes me as the type of woman who likes that aggressive, non-violent energy from men. And I don't think that that's healthy. But at the same time, I don't feel like she'll stay somewhere she don't want to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm explaining it poorly, but I just get a vibe from her that she
gives you the
borderline
vibe that she wanted a thug.
Yes, I want a bad boy, but reformed bad boy. I don't know. Anywho, he basically asked her, so about last night when we talked about our fathers.
Sister.
I told you what happened to mine. I would like to know, if you don't mind sharing, what happened to yours. And basically he said it in a way like,
you're not gonna leave me out here on this fucking
right.
island. I just was vulnerable with you. You're gonna fucking tell me now.
So Mirla goes into the story that to me was just something from Lifetime movie network type stuff. That her dad. I get why she didn't want to say that. That shit was a lot. That her dad was basically murdered by her stepsister as a setup.
It was a setup. Her husband, her stepsister, and her stepsister's husband.
So my question was,
stabbed him to death.
My question was,
did he?
What happened between the stepsister and the daddy?
Yeah.
That escalated this to the situation because a lot of times I'm not no expert when I watch, but I'm a woman, so I watch a lot of like crime shows or whatever. A lot of times it's more than what meets the eye when not accident, but like when wild cases like this happen. There's always, well, not always, most of the time there's like a hidden something that was going on, whether somebody was stealing from somebody or somebody was having a whole nother, affair or outside life, or they had been trying to get away and couldn't get away and they broke away and they end up coming back and then this tragic thing happened. So I was like, I feel like there's more to the story that she doesn't want to put out there. Yeah. But, the internet is full of detectives and it's only somebody gonna piss Mirla off. I mean, Mirla action on TV gonna piss a crazed fan off, and they gonna go digging for information. And by the end of the season, we gonna know the tea. So, but either way, it's a very sad situation with both of their fathers. A horrible thing to have in common, which is something that they say, but they do also appreciate the fact that both of them, well, like Bruce said, have an understanding if emotions ever arise about that situation. Mirla goes to Gil goes to visit Mirla's friends, and like I said, Mirla ain't got no friends because the people at this table was totally different than the people that we had seen earlier. Yeah. Except for that one black dude who I was asking, why you ain't marry her? Why you ain't with her?
I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of times with dude friends, he probably wanted her. She just didn't want him. And he stuck around as a friend. That usually happens a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
Guy friends.
Because one of them asked, have you seen any red flags from her yet? Nigga, it's day one. Right. Literally, I have not known her for 24 hours yet. So what red flags should I be seeing? And then the brother told me I just don't want to have a reason to have to come.
You don't want to have to see my bad side or something like that. I'm like, nigga.
Did you look at him? And did you look at yourself?
You look scrawny as hell.
Gil will pick you up and body slam you.
Trying to play that whole like.
So is he.
Hispanic, rough drug lord type cartel.
I don't think he was trying to do that, but he was just trying to puff up his chest as a brother. Like, bro, you not her daddy. So that level of reverence and respect that a man would have for a woman's father, who is also an elder to him, is not going to be there.
It's because
when y'all the same age.
It's because Gil ain't got
Gil
no
is
beard.
a firefighter.
It's because Gil ain't got no beard. They tried to punk him. If you didn't look at how they edited it, they made him. They had edited it back when the dude said that. They edited Gil back talking about something. I don't know if you heard that shit or not.
When they
I'm like, they trying to play this man like he a punk or some shit. I'm like,
Gil ain't no punk. Gil can handle probably every dude
Gil
at that table.
lifts, nigga. I lift. You feel me? Like, you can't be no weak ass nigga to be no firefighter.
And I'm just like, okay, whatever. My money on Gil if anything ever go down. But Gil was not even
phased by it.
He was, because what are you gonna do to me?
The overarching theme of this meeting, though, with the male friends of Merla, was she don't need a man.
She just want one.
She just really want one.
Don't worry about what she. Don't worry about what she spent on
lifestyle, because she'll really
never ask
you to buy it for her.
Right.
It's like,
for a person who is into,
it's a lot of red flags, bro.
For a person who is into money and material things, most likely their love language is going to be gifts. So if you aren't giving them the type of gifts that they value and appreciate, like the type of gifts that they purchase for themselves, it's probably going to cause an issue. Because he's not going to be able to do it as often as she would want him. No, she would never ask him.
And he's going to say no to a lot of shit that she wants to do.
Right, but my thing is, a lot of women who are proud will never ask a man. But will we turn it down when they bring it to us?
No. And will you bring it up in an argument when it's time?
Yes. So I'm just like, Mirla is a B. Mirla ain't got no friends. That's what I took from
poor
that.
Gil, man, because Gil is a really great guy.
He is. Y'all set my dude Gil up.
It's red flags, bro.
Go find Paige.
Yeah.
Go find Paige from last year. Yeah. And y'all meet up at one of them Married at First Sight, whatever.
Mixers or some shit.
So, anywho,
They're not gonna make it. By the way,
We're not here yet.
I'm just gonna fucking say it, but go ahead.
All right, Kev. Mila, is a brat. She's meeting with Gil's people. Gil's two friends. Female friends. She comes in there and she sits down and basically, her friend is like, "Hey, how are you today?" She's like, "Girl, I'm tired." And she was like, "I might have a little." And it
goes on to say,
"I might have a little attitude because I didn't get a lot of sleep, but that's just who I am. Like, if I'm tired, then this that." And then she started talking about how if I need something and I vocalize that I need it, if I don't get it, I'm gonna be snippy until I get it. Also, you're 5. Also, you throw temper tantrums. Like, and she's saying
you're
this
supposed
like
to be saying you're selling yourself as a good person, but now it's almost like I'm a shitty person. But here's all my excuses why I'm a shitty person, or you try to smooth it over and say, well, this is the reason why I ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like, fuck it, I ain't even gonna use that example. But it's just stupid. Like, why would you? You're supposed to be bring your best self to this brunch to make sure to put them at ease, letting them know that their friend is with a good, genuine human being,
and he's gonna be taken care of the same way your brother is pressing him, making sure that you're taken care of. Gil is going to deliver you back to your brother with a bow on top. He's not gonna tolerate this foolishness. Like, he don't have to. He's a good looking man with a nice job.
Be fucking alone. I think she's one of them.
Yes. Very
and she
much
might
so.
just prefer it that way. Like, she's built her lifestyle around herself to be single.
Every time I see Mirla, my inner Jocelyn Hernandez comes out. Ho! Why is you here?
Why is you here?
Like, you don't need this because your lifestyle says that you don't need this. And part
you're not
of that,
willing to change.
And part of her, them allowing them to. A part of production keeping in the fact that she did not volunteer for this show, she was sought out, that her friends put her up to it, or that she was found or whatever, speaks a lot to, like, she just has the air of, I don't have to really be here. It's so weird. I put in my notes verbatim, Mirla is a basic bratty bitch.
She's a basic
That's
bitch.
Just how I feel about it. Because they get their baskets, and when they get in their baskets, she was like, "Oh, this hat is dope. I just said I needed a cap. Can't put my cap on though because my hair, my ponytail, whatever." Then she was like, "Oh, an eye mask for the plane. Can't put an eye mask on though because it's gonna mess up my lashes." And Gil is chuckling. He's like, "Well, what can you?" He was like, "What can you do?" And then
Gil ain't gonna hold his tongue to this shit.
And then they fly them to Florida. Oh. They get there, and she's complaining about her free during a pandemic honeymoon.
That's at a really nice place, by the way.
Can we see the ocean from here?
And it's nighttime, so you can't see the shit.
You can't hear the beach. I just want to hear the waves. I want to be somewhere beautiful you can hear the waves. So Gil was like, if
I would have loved to be somewhere but I wouldn't have chose here. And
Gil was like, if it's all that, I'll pull up ocean sounds on my phone. And I'm like, this is the type of man you want. This is the type of, Bruce, if we went somewhere and we couldn't get ocean sound and you pull ocean waves sound, well, I listen to rain going to sleep anyway. So I would be happy. I would be here for it. I'm somewhere that I didn't have to pay for with a fine man beside me. Like, girl. So Gil ends up bringing it up about how, we're here in this place and you just don't seem too happy. I think you're kind of hard to please. And Mirla's like, me?
Hard to please?
Hard to please? No. And I'm just like,
you're in denial.
You're not in denial. You're trying to be cute. You're trying to be cute because you just told his friends, if I don't get my way, I turn into a bee. And now he's calling you out because you literally complained ever since you stepped foot in this place. It was just wild. So overall, no, I don't think they're going to make it. I think she is going to start liking him, and then he is not going to like her anymore.
I hope that's how it works.
That's what I want for them.
I pray it works like that.
Lord, please don't let Gil
fall for that girl.
Fall for her.
Well, he ain't gonna end up hitting it, so I'm sorry. Edit that out.
Nope. Keeping it in.
He ain't gonna end up hitting it, so he might not fall for her because she gonna make that nigga go through the ringer just to get some. They had that conversation about money not motivating them too, and that kind of fucked up some shit too.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Brett and Ryan.
Brett and Ryan, Miss Hopelessly Devoted and Mr. Reformed Serial Dater.
His personality is starting to come out a lot, and I can read all the way through it.
They have cute little couple banter that's super flirty. The night that they get into the hotel room and they're laying in the bed and they're looking at each other and they're talking and they're just super relaxed around each other at this point, which is very nice to see. Then you see them wake up the next morning and homeboy took his ring off and she was like, you ain't even make it through night one, day one, and your ring is off. He was like, well, I'm not used to wearing it, so I'm gonna put it back on, but I'm just not used to wearing it. And then you see them go to lunch. Ryan is very awkward around her parents. I don't know if it was this much silence in their meal or if it was production messing with us, editing him just like.
And what's funny is because he's actually really good at flirting with her, which is rare in this show.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't see guys that's actually really good at flirting, but
especially
I guess that also plays.
Guys.
Yeah, that part. But and I guess that plays into his whole serial dating type situation and him being able to get attractive women. But like his sister said, like,
they don't be women of substance.
They be
basically
dumb.
That's what
Dodos.
The sister told Brett when they were at their brunch. She was like, yeah, listening to you speak, learning about your occupation. I'm glad to see that they matching with somebody with something going on in their head, because usually they don't. And what was so funny is last time when they were talking about the redhead thing and that's not really his type, Bruce was like, yeah, he probably goes for like the all-American blonde girl, and nobody would say that. And I'm just like, why wouldn't you say that to her? Because you keep saying, oh no, you're definitely not his type, but with red hair you can pull it off. Like, that doesn't give people warm and fuzzies to open up.
He has a type. It's his preference, and I think he prefers it that way.
Maybe.
But he just ain't been able to seal the deal with these girls.
Maybe.
And I think as we go on and they get, when you see them together a lot more, you can tell that he's just not really into her yet. Yeah. He's not into her, and you can tell. And I think part of that is just because he's used to a cookie cutter type of girl, and he's used to it going a specific type of way. And this girl is educated. She's kind of scrappy. You can tell she's not gonna take no shit.
Yeah, she's
outgoing, and she's actually different from what he's used to. Like, even all the way down to the traditional things that he does, like dancing, for example, hunting.
Yeah, the two-steps.
All that other stuff. It's a girl
ranching
from a whole nother world, and he's not used to that because he's gonna have to explain certain things to her, and she's gonna probably not like certain things about him.
Well, we already saw how she was when they were dancing.
Right.
Don't dip me, and he barely got a turn out of her. So I'm like, that to me, I think was a turn off. I called Mirla Miss Enigma last week. I feel like Ryan is Mr. Enigma, because one moment he's kikiing in the bed with her,
he just knows how to flirt.
and the next moment they showed him in the bed again,
not interested,
and he wasn't responding to anything she was basically talking about. And that was because this was their first night when they were in Florida, and whatever situation, I must have missed it, or maybe they didn't show it, I don't know. Something happened about her like freaking out on a plane because she doesn't like planes, she doesn't like to travel. And he was basically like, if anybody other than my wife would have acted the way she acted on that plane, we would have never been together. Like, that would have been in a relationship. So my question was, well, what happened on the plane, and why y'all ain't get that girl no Ambien or volume or something to make her drowsy and sleepy? And I'm just like, I was a yes last week, but I'm still gonna say yes. But I'm looking at.
It's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take some time. And the reason why it's gonna take time is because he's gonna have to change what he's used to, and she's gonna
have to become more open.
She's gonna have to become more open for one, because she's very reserved.
I think both of them are gonna have to.
It's not a decoy, but it's like you get a vibe that she's gonna be like a firecracker and outgoing, but she's not really. She's kind of very reserved, and that's why you just can't make any judgments based on certain attributes. She just might like red hair, and it might look better on her than any other type of hair color. But with that being said, though, I think part of the reason why he's not interested is because in most cases with the girls that he's used to dealing with, he'll probably be like having sex in the time that they just want to be trying to get to know each other at this point. And I think he's like running out of his shit, like his charm is running out. Because by this time, my charm would have worked and I would have got you out your pants kind of by now. Maybe that's just how I'm thinking.
Or maybe he just don't know how to have a long-term relationship.
That too.
Like that.
But it's only day 2, so I'm just more so thinking like he doesn't have much to go off of because he's just used to doing cookie cutter things to get to this level, to get to this next stepping stone, to this next stepping stone.
So I would like to see how when they do expert prompted activities and questions, if that pushes him in the direction of relationship. Since he's Mr. Serial Dater, if he has to dig deep, will he be willing to do that in order to sustain a marriage? So overall, is this a yes or a no? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Come check me out in about 2 weeks. I know for sure because I just don't know. I can't. I understand
he missed the
him,
enigma,
but I don't know how they're gonna make it work because they're just too different.
So, Rachel and Jose, Mrs. Blossoming Bride, and he's Mr. Perfectionist. I don't be trying to like guess man's sexuality, cause my philosophy is who and what you put inside your body or on top of your body is none of my business. But and however, the way Jose said honey when she came out of that bathroom from taking her wedding dress off, and he's like, oh, I couldn't see this under the dress. Yes, honey. It instantly sent my mind to Legally Blonde when she was at the water fountain drinking her water, and the witness when the witness was drinking his water and Elle was tapping her foot at him, and he was like, don't be tapping those last season Prada shoes at me, honey. And I was just like,
and then she was like, he's gay.
I was
that's
like,
really what happened. But
bro, the way he said honey, I mean, I know you can't base it off how people talk, but sometimes you can base it off how people talk. So I said, I'm gonna just make y'all aware. I'm gonna just keep my antennas up and my eyes open. I'm hoping that he's not, because I feel like that may destroy her. But yeah. So Jose also says that rejecting sex from his wife wouldn't be masculine of him if it happens when they asked him about it happening on the first night. And I was just like, why would your response to that question be tied to masculinity? It's either, no, I don't expect my wife. It's either, no, I don't expect to have sex with her on the first night. I wouldn't if she tried, because I feel like we have time for that. Or, I'm open to whatever happened. I'm going to let her take the lead. Like, those are the typical answers that dudes have in the show. And he was like, well, if she wanted me to, I don't think it would be masculine to turn her down.
And I'm like, so it has to be some form of type of question about his masculinity. Somebody has
posed to him, or he's been mulling over it himself.
Questioning himself, yeah.
So I'm just like, okay. What she say? What they say that she say? Mental note.
Mental note.
That was a mental note. Then she calls him a perfectionist. Oh no, she calls him perfect. Like, you're the perfect husband. Da 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 da. You're exactly what I wanted. And he denounces that. So I was like, here we go with those like insecurities rising up. I hope both of them will be able to keep looking at each other with rose colored glasses the way they have been in order to overpower the insecurities that the other has about themselves. I feel like if they're able to keep looking at each other and building each other up in that way, then eventually it won't be, a roadblock for them down the road. Uh, Jose meets with Rachel's family, and the hating friend was there, and the mama was there, and I was just confused as to what this was supposed to be, because I felt like it was supposed to be let's get to know you time, and it was we're going to warn you about Rachel's bad habits time. And I'm like, is this really the first impression you want?
They didn't hold back at all
for your son-in-law to have for your, like, you would think that it was like his friends, like, did you see her car? Did you know that she bad with money? Like, it was just,
it was right weird. Up the friend's alley, because I'm like, even her mom does, and I'm just like, so this just strikes me as her friend finds it okay because she's seen her mom do it.
I feel like the friend mad that homegirl done lost weight and got her a husband.
But for the mom to do it chunky. Too.
That's and that explains to me why you found a friend.
Yeah.
Who talks to you condescendingly like that, because you've seen it with your mother, so it's normal to you. Mm-hmm. It's very, very
weird. She was wild. She's messy. She doesn't clean dishes.
He was like, "Oh, I can't wait for you to see her car." And I'm like,
and you just found out that this dude is like hyper clean and
I was like,
perfect guy, and I'm just like, why would you want to put her in that light? Get these people
out of here. Get them out of here.
They're trying to sabotage her almost.
Get them out of here.
It's wild.
So, but they also talked about she's very accomplished. This is where we learned she has, 2 degrees. She want to go back for her doctoral. So I'm like, this is backhanded praise. This is backhanded compliments.
Yeah.
Like, tell him all of that stuff. The dirty car, the bad with money. Let him discover that part on his own. Like, it's just very, very weird. So,
she goes to meet his people. Here comes the stepmom again, and
just.
To be honest, I like the stepmom. I think that because his real mother is a kind of coddles him, so she's trying to keep everything, perfect and keep up his persona of being this perfect guy. The dad is a little soft-spoken, but the stepmom is real. She's the real.
I don't even remember what she said.
I can't remember what she said verbatim or whatever, but it just, everybody said what they had to say about him, and then she said one thing that you just knew was just like, oh, okay. It was one of them moments like, okay, I see what you're saying. And she literally had that connection with the stepmom, and I was like, she probably gonna go to the stepmom more for.
Yeah, and I feel like the stepmom is more open and welcoming to maybe not the process, but in general, she's just a more open and welcoming person to whomever. So I feel like that link between the stepmom and Rachel is going to be a good thing.
Bridge, yeah.
So they come together and they talk about their meetings with each other's family, and in the confessional, Rachel says one thing that I honed in on, because this is something that I was wondering about her. She was talking about how she's learned not to hold things in anymore. She used to hold stuff in and let it build up and explode to the point where there's a bad argument or the relationship turns and it can't come back. So I was just like, okay, I'm glad to know that with my concerns about him trying to put her into a box, if she's going to be confident enough to step up and speak up for herself, and according to her, she is. So I feel like, okay, I'm a little bit at ease about it. I just want to see what happens next. They start packing for Florida, and Jose goes to pour the condoms into the bag, and Rachel smacks the bag away, and she like, you can't have babies like that. And I was like, okay,
I think they fucked on the first night.
I feel like they did,
Yeah.
but they didn't say anything.
Yeah, I think they had sex on the first.
I feel like they did, but they
and
didn't
just the way
say
they've been,
anything.
they made out the whole time. She's very all up on him.
Yes, very clingy, very loving.
She likes his body,
very
all that stuff.
affectionate, and him to her as well. So I feel like, you know, they're at a good space right now. When they make it to Florida, they have a very awkward moment in the bathroom where they both are getting ready for bed, and he asks her if he can brush her teeth. And I was just like, first he made a note that he has an electric toothbrush and she doesn't. And she was like, yeah, I do. I have one at home, but when I travel, I don't bring it. So he was like, oh, well, can I brush your teeth? And I was like, oh, he forgot to laugh. Like, is this a joke? I wasn't sure if it was a joke or if he was serious.
He smiled.
But when she brought it up again.
She didn't think it was a joke.
And when she brought it up again, did he say it was a joke? He didn't say it was a joke. So I'm
he
like.
He would have did it had she allowed her. I would have did it had she allowed me. If you would have allowed me, I would have did it even though I was joking. I would have just followed through with it. Like, I'm joking, but I'll do it for real because I'm just into doing goofy shit. That's goofy. Okay. It's goofy. It was weird.
Do you think they're going to make it?
I do.
I'm still on yes, maybe.
Yeah, I do with them. I don't see any red flag. I don't think they're going to be the problem couples.
No, I feel like they
It's always a couple that just be like,
I feel like they're gonna
back and
plateau
watching
though.
Everybody else kind of go crazy.
Oh, that's gonna be Val and Johnny. No.
Yeah.
Who you think gonna be?
Well, it's more than one. It's always more than one. It's usually two.
Yeah, they take turns. But I feel like all the red flags that her family tried to bring up to him might seem shocking to him in the beginning, but I feel like from her confessional, she's malleable. She knows what her weaknesses are. And when they came and they talked about her being bad with money, she was very open to him taking the reins. And he said something that a woman would love for a man to say. He was basically like, I spent a lot of my life setting myself in position and getting in order to have a wife and a family to take care of. So if we have to spend time working on yours, then we'll do that. And I was like,
he strikes me as the type of person who, he strikes me as the type of person who's not going to allow something like that to happen where he just lets her sit there and have bad credit or whatever the case is. Or anything that's bad, he's not going to allow it to just be bad. He will do whatever. He's one of those type of people who is solution oriented. The one thing I can say is they kind of downplay how intelligent she is.
Yes,
they're both very intelligent. So I think that's what's going to bode well in their favor because I don't think he knows just yet how intelligent she is, or maybe he realized after they talked about her degrees, but they're both intellectually able to articulate how they feel.
Yeah. And that's how I feel like the number of degrees she has doesn't highlight her intelligence, but the fact that she's driven and he's very driven, and his one thing that he said in the beginning was, I don't want a woman who I have to sit back and take care of. Like, I want a partnership. I feel like she's a good partner for him.
Yeah.
So that was Married at First Sight. Episode 4, I believe, season 13. We'll be back next week, same channel, with our review. So like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells. So what are you doing?
I'm pointing down at the bell.
Oh, the bell is actually up.
The bell's at the bottom.
I don't know.
Let me do what I do.
Okay, you over there look like you landing the plane. I didn't know what was happening.
So like, subscribe, ring the notification bell.
Okay.
Let me just do me.
You can do you. Later, y'all.
Thank you. You said they also ate breakfast in bed, did they?
That's what that same night.
To be honest, they recapped the wedding night, but they kind of already showed us the wedding night. I think